While cloning humans remains firmly in the realm of science fiction, cloning mushrooms is a standard technique used in mycology. In fact, it's the most common method used to preserve the genetics of a specific mushroom strain. Think of it this way. Every cultivated mushroom in the grocery store is an identical clone, copied and cultivated over and over again from the same original strain. Cloning mushrooms allows you to bypass the genetic lottery of spore cultivation, where each spore represents a new genetic combination. By cloning, you can preserve the exact attributes of the mushroom you want to continue growing, including its rate of growth, morphology, flavor profile, and chemical compounds. This is how every commercial mushroom farm and spawn producer, including us at Spore, achieves consistency across different mushroom strains and species. This technique can also help field mycologists preserve a specific set of genetics of a wild mushroom and much, much more. Just keep in mind that not all mushrooms, especially wild mushrooms, can be cloned. Certain mycorrhizal and parasitic species have special growth requirements, many of which make them difficult to culture. Okay, so to actually clone a mushroom, there are a few things you need, including a couple of materials and a clean workspace. I'm going to be working in a flow hood, but most people don't have that at home, so I recommend using something like a still air box. You'll also want to make sure you have a fresh mushroom sample, a scalpel or tweezers, agar plates, parafilm, and sterilization tools such as 70% isopropyl alcohol and a flame. All of these items can be found on our website, though if you want to take a more DIY approach, we have several tutorials, including how to make your own agar plates, slants, and liquid culture, which I'll link to below. As always, I want to thank you for watching this video. We wouldn't be able to make free, educational content without your support. Please consider subscribing or liking this video. It costs you nothing and it helps us in the algorithm big time. Thanks again for being on this mycological journey with us. Now, let's dive in. So the first thing you're going to want to do is spray your hands and plates with 70% isopropyl alcohol. All right, now you're ready to go. The first thing you're going to want to do is sterilize your scalpel or tweezers by dipping it in alcohol and heating it to a red glow, allowing your tool to cool slightly before using. Then split your mushroom in half to reveal its inner tissue, and carefully remove a small piece from either just above the spore-bearing surface or at the base of the stem. Once you have your sample, place it into the center of your agar plate. Only open the lip of the plate enough to get the sample inside, and avoid having it open for too long. If you're trying to clone a mushroom that doesn't have your typical cap and stem morphology, you'll want to focus on where growth is actively occurring. Look for fresh, living tissue. Take lion's mane, for example. You'll want to take your sample from the inner core, closer to the base of the mushroom. Avoid taking samples from the outside of the mushroom or any of the spines, as these areas may contain contaminant bacteria or fungal spores. Once you're finished, immediately close the lid and seal the plate with parafilm, or a parafilm equivalent like cling wrap or micropore tape. Now your plates are ready for incubation. During this phase, you'll begin to see mycelium sprout from the tissue sample and grow on the surface of the agar plate in a circular formation. It's best to incubate your sealed plate in a clean, dark, and warm location, which is around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, for several days. During this time, it's crucial to monitor for contamination, which may appear as discolored patches of mold or bacteria. Just as an example, I have a few plates here that we inoculated in open air without sterilizing our tools or equipment. These plates are really disgusting, but you can see how there really isn't much mycelial growth. Now, this isn't always the case. Sometimes you'll have a clear section of healthy mycelium alongside a patch of mold. In these situations, you can salvage your plate by cutting out a small section of healthy mycelium and moving it to a fresh plate. If the mycelium is in close proximity to contaminants, you might have to transfer the mycelium multiple times before you have a clean culture. Okay, now say you don't run into contamination. You will eventually end up with something like this, a plate covered in clean, beautiful mushroom mycelium. This is what we call a master culture. And this you can use to make something like grain spawn, create more plates, liquid culture, or to make slants for long-term storage. Once your plate is fully colonized, you'll want to store it in the fridge. It can stay fresh for up to 6 to 8 months. And that's about it. Again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about cloning, feel free to leave a comment. And let me know what topics you'd like for us to cover next. See you next time.